morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to talk about the final Stella Tera Pokémon from Stella Crown. Of course, it is official now. We knew there were going to be 4 Stella Tera Pokémon. We were told that in the press release. Well, we already had the other 3. We'd already seen Terapagos, and we'd seen Galvantula, and we'd seen Lapras. Well, now we've got Cinderace. Is Cinderace any good? Well, I don't know. Let's have a gander. And also, while we're here, maybe we have a look at a new illustration rare as well. So what we've got here with Cinderace EX, 320 HP Fire Pokemon, although these new borders do not make them look like Fire Pokemon. And we got Fire Double Colorless, 280 damage, and you can't use it next turn. And you know what? Yeah. This isn't too bad. Now look, it's a stage 2. The fact that it's a stage 2 is a problem. The fact that it's a stage 2 is honestly going to get pretty annoying. We don't want it to be a stage 2 because stage 2s are harder to get into play. They're more annoying, blah, blah, blah. We've acknowledged this. It's a stage 2. Sorry about that. But if you get this rolling, it actually does all right. Because you got free retreat, which is a nice little bonus. And in terms of the energy acceleration here, you're absolutely rolling because we've got access to Magma Basin. If we didn't have Magma Basin, I'd like it a lot less. But we do have Magma Basin, so that seems all right by me. Magma Basin lets you attach a fire energy from your discard to one of your fire Pokemon. And of course, this is very much a fire Pokemon. So you can go and use Magma Basin for the first energy. You attach for the turn, and then remember we've got that new Ace spec, which will reduce your attack cost by 1. And oh look, from no energy to free energy all in one go. Although do remember with Magma Basin, you take 2 damage counters when you attach with it. Not ideal. And it only works onto the benched Pokemon. You can't do this to the active. But we can get the free energy on here easily enough, and that's quite nice. And then we're hitting 280. We could even skip the tool, the new Ace spec, and just go, well, hang on a second, Magma Base and Double Turbo, boom, that's the free energy again. And now we're hitting 280. Although, of course, when we say 280, if you're using Double Turbo, of course, it's not 280, it's 260. And 280 is a very, very relevant number. Things like, V-Stars, for instance, pretty much all of the relevant ones. Take Lugia as an example, they're all up at 280, and then you've got some stage 2 EXs on the weaker side like Pidgeot sitting there at 280. So going from 280 down to 260 because you chose to use Double Turbo energy, that is legit a little bit annoying. That is, to use a very British phrase, far from ideal. But my point is here, we've got ways to get the energy on, and 280 is good. Is it going to get all of your stage 2 EXs all of the time? No. No, it's not. Is it going to get some stage 2 EXs? Pretty much all basic and stage 1 EXs? Vs, V-Stars? Yes. Yes, it absolutely will. It is a decent amount of damage. But then we've got a second attack coming in here as well. 1 fire, 1 fighting, 1 darkness. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. Deal 180 damage. And this is you're hitting the bench Pokemon. This is because if you're going to hit the active, just hit 280. If you can pay for the second attack, then you're hitting 280 with the first attack. So although technically you can hit the active, you're choosing one of your opponent's Pokemon, not one of their bench Pokemon. There's no real reason why you would ever want to hit the active with this. We've got a better option. Use this to hit the bench. But then when you hit the bench, 180 is a decent amount of damage. Now again, you're not getting everything. You're not really getting Pokemon V, and you're not really getting basic EXs. You're getting pretty much any single prize Pokemon, and then you're getting a few Pokemon here or there. But one that are seeing enough play as to be relevant. Lumineon, sitting now of 170 HP, given up 2 prizes, you bench it, and then you search for a supporter card. It's great, but it's a 2-prize liability, and we will be looking to take advantage of that. This is a great attack for taking out something like a Luminion on the bench, for instance. So in that regard, jobs are good and you're doing well. Mew, 180. Well, that's good. You're doing 180. Again, it's a Pokemon that sits on the bench. It's got a really nice ability. Lets you draw until you've got 3 cards in your hand, which is nice. And, of course, it's got an attack that can copy your opponent's attack. So watch out, they can actually copy your attack and hit your bench Pokemon here. But Mew is another Pokemon that gives up 2 prizes and will often just be sitting, chilling on the bench. Do you see where we're going with this? I'm going to give you one more example. How about Rotom V? If you can do an extra 10 damage. Yeah, Rotom V, unfortunately, is 10 damage away. And then there's plenty of ways of doing this. Whole Lucha, for instance, will drop a damage counter onto 2 bench Pokemon. So then that will... But you're getting awkward at that point. Really, where this excels is getting Pokemon that are going to give up 2 prizes and sit on the bench and try and remain out of reach. There is, of course, a big problem with trying to get those Pokemon. If you've got a 2-prize Pokemon sitting on the bench trying to be out of reach, you've probably got a Manaphy. And Manaphy is going to be a little bit of a problem because Wave Veil prevents all damage done to your bench Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. So if you're using Cinderace here to try and hit the bench, well, yeah. See, what's going to happen is you're going to hit towards the bench, and then it's not going to work. And Manaphy is an issue here, and we're going to have Manaphy for a little while yet, and this will stop the bench hitting, which I think is probably the most interesting thing. But here's the deal. Once again, the attack cost here is fine. Now, Double Turbo isn't going to work, but your Fire Energy, you can use Magma Basin. And then you've got Fighting and Darkness, and the reality is you're going to have to get one of those reduced with the A-Spec, and one of those attached from hand, or the new Crispin card. Because the new Crispin card, of course, is a lovely new supporter card, whereby you can search your deck for 2 different basic Pokemon. One gets attached, and one goes to your hand. So you search your deck for a Fighting and a Darkness. One gets attached, it doesn't matter which. The other one goes to your hand, and then you attach it manually. It really doesn't matter which way round we go here. And then you've got Magma Basin for your third, and you're off and rolling. This is kind of the point here. With these lovely Tera Pokémon, yes, they've got 3 different types in their attack cost, and yes, that is super awkward. But because you've got the tool that reduces one of those attack costs, and because you've then got Crispin that can accelerate one energy while searching out the other, it actually becomes a lot less of an issue than you might think. And given that we got Magma Basin for one of these types, that sounds good to me. But we do have some pre-evolutions here as well, including Raboot. Yay! Oh, and it's got an illustration rare. So, yeah, we are literally getting a new EX and a new illustration rare in the same video. I cannot be the only one that thinks that's a pretty good thing, right? I think this is a nice little pair of cards. And now, in terms of the playability of the Stage 1, it's got 90 HP and vanilla attacks, and the vanilla attacks don't actually do enough to be particularly relevant, and yeah... That's a bit of a problem here. 99% of the time, you're just going to go, what's the point? And you're going to rare candy over it, and Raboot's going to be irrelevant. You might play one for those games where you're struggling to find rare candy so that you can evolve up through it. Lovely artwork, incidentally. Rika knocked it out the park with Score Bunny playing football with a snowball in the snow. I kind of love it. But, yeah, it is... not hugely relevant would be a very polite way of putting it. So, yeah. Oh, and the regular art's actually playing football with a berry. You got to love the consistency here of these Pokemon always just running around playing football. And speaking as someone who's just landed in Germany, the home of the European Championships this year, although I'm not here to watch any football, sadly, yeah, I'm down with the football. As for the Score Bunny, just while we're here, single energy, 10 damage, flip a coin, if heads it does 10 more. The 70 HP is nice. You know, having 70 HP rather than 60 is all right. I suppose 20 damage is better than nothing. So, yay. But yeah, I mean, it's the best score bunny we've got because it's a score bunny. But it's not particularly enticing, I think is fair to say. But look, we got a new EX that could end up being pretty good. We got a new illustration rare, which is beautiful, and I think that's pretty good. My final word on Cinderace essentially is you've got a really good attack that hits good damage to the active, and an attack that can hit good bench damage. But even with the tricks we've got, it's still awkward energy-wise. The bench damage can be prevented, and the first attack doesn't quite do enough damage. I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. I don't think this is a terrible card, but I do worry that there's nothing about this which is quite special enough. But there we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you're excited about here. Tell me if you think this card could be good. Tell me what you think of the artwork on the illustration rare. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.